One, hey, two, hey, one, hey, two, hey, three, hey, four, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Everybody get up. Ho, hey, ho, hey, ho, hey, ho. Everybody get up. Everybody get up.
Hi everyone, welcome to Actors from the Dark Side.
Thank you so much for sliding through.
Yes, I am Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion.
And I'm LaDios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
What?
And we are so glad you're here. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, what are we talking about today, LaDios?
Oh man, one of those fun, not so fun topics, like dealing with jealousy, insecurities, and rejection when it comes to theater, film.
Yes,
You
yes.
know, being in this entertainment business is a tough cookie, right?
We are probably in the toughest industry when it comes to jealousy and insecurities and rejection,
Yeah.
especially. So yeah, we deal with it a lot.
Yeah.
And there are ways to keep your mental health, which we both managed to do somehow, at least me loosely, but
That's real. That's so real. Yeah. I mean, and you know, some of this starts with the number one thing, and that would be in what the influence of social media.
Sure,
that will
absolutely.
screw you up.
Yes, absolutely. I know I've had to take multiple social media breaks just for my mental health because A, stupidity of others, B, craziness of others,
Right.
C, misinformation. So, and then there's also those people that can seemingly concoct this beautiful world and everything's going great for them. They're out there at all the restaurants and they're doing all the things and they're booking all the jobs and it's like, So that's
that
a tough
does
one.
it, especially when you see those things. Booked it,
Right?
booked it, and I'm like, I want to be happy. I am happy. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yay.
but what's all the extra?
When I get a job.
Yeah. Yeah, you do feel like that. You're like, when's my time coming? When's my time
What
coming?
about me?
Yeah.
They're great.
Social media can be brutal.
can.
Totally brutal. But like you said, sometimes you have to disconnect. I use it strictly for promotion and to stay connected to my friends.
Yeah.
I don't try to engage in a lot of the madness.
Sure.
And I
sure.
don't do political conversations. I totally avoid those, and I avoid, like, you know, the news and the media can just be very depressing. So
It
I try
can
to
be.
steer clear.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Do you have any tips or tricks for like staying away from comparing yourself from others? Because that's what I find that social media makes me do. I'm always sitting there like, oh my God, their life looks so much better. Oh my God, this looks so much, and getting yourself out of that.
With social media, not so much.
Okay.
Before social media, maybe because everybody was more in person, and you'd be like, oh, especially if you were next to a more seasoned actor, you'd be like, oh, am I as good as them, or am I gonna, you know, am I gonna be looking stupid on there, or you know, or am I gonna say the wrong line? Am I gonna actually support them?
Right.
You know, like those were things that I felt insecure wise, like being next to someone more seasoned versus, you know, with me being more of a novice. But with social media, because in my mind being more mature, I know it's not real. Like,
Yes.
I know it's a facade. I mean, people get dressed up to come on the video.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So from the top up, you know, you're all dressed up and glammed, and then from
Yeah.
the bottom, you might have on your slippers.
Yeah.
So no, not so much.
absolutely. Yeah.
I try not to compare myself. It doesn't mean that it may not slide through. Like what are they doing that they got this many followers, or what are they doing that people are coming to their videos? But then I you know, like, what's my favorite motto? What's for you is for you. And what's for
Exactly.
me is for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's such a great quote to keep you out of that headspace, because for me, I think comparing myself to others, yes, it happens, but I always try to keep it in the back of my mind that I'm a unique individual and what I have is different from what everybody else has. And so there's no point in trying to be like or emulate anybody else, because then I'm not being me. And I like me.
I like
So,
that. Yeah, and
so yeah.
that's good, because it's like trying to understand when your time comes with rejection.
Oh, so true.
You're like, I mean, come on. I mean, and you just started like hitting the ball running just in the last month, or maybe what has been like 2 months with the agency. Like you're doing some regular auditions, and it's like
I ain't got nothing. Nothing. Fools. I ain't got booked once.
Wait.
Fool.
Wait, but her audition tapes is on fire.
Thank you. I love you.
Especially that last one. So.
It's gonna happen.
It
Eventually.
is. You got to understand
You
your
gotta put
time
the work,
is kind. You got to
man.
put that work in, and so that's why it's not to the meek.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Yeah.
this is for the long haul. If you cannot stay in it for a long haul, and
And developing a thick skin, right?
Oh my
'Cause,
God.
you gotta be a little tough to be in this industry and to deal with the lack of callback. No, anyways, we gotta,
don't
we
go
gotta
there.
develop a really, really thick skin is all I'm saying.
It's true, and I ain't gonna lie. There's some times when I thought I was gonna get something and I cried and I didn't get it. But that's, I mean, I'm human. It doesn't mean push down your emotions. It just means okay, keep it moving. Because
Right.
you said I don't want to look like everybody else.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I want the perfect role for me.
Yeah.
And not every role is a good role.
No, and there's so many different factors that go into that, right? It might be the other cast members. They might be the reason why you don't get cast. And you could also have, just a certain look or a certain, I don't know. There's 1,000 different reasons why you didn't get booked. But just trust that maybe it wasn't for you, but there is going to be something that is for you. And that's going to be amazing when you put yourself into it.
Yeah,
So,
because it could be like your rejection will be your protection.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
it's not rejection, it's actually a selection. They may want you may truly have a particular look. Like Rav'n drummer is a big time casting director. I've been invited for several auditions and I have not booked one thing. And that was so frustrating. And I went to my acting coach. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And she said, if she's still inviting you, you're doing something right.
Yeah, you're doing something
So
right.
it's just, you got to change that mindset that you're not being rejected. It just was not your time,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I know for me, LaDios and many of you, our viewers know, LaDios has a lot more experience than I do. So sometimes it is like, oh, well, I submitted, and I start getting down on myself. But wait a minute, I'm in front of people that I've never been in front of before, and people are seeing my talent, and eventually something's going to come around. So it is kind of, just flipping the script on yourself, changing your perspective so that you don't go into depression or succumb to those negative thoughts that we all have. Every one of us has that nasty little voice that's saying, you suck, you're not good enough. So, you really got to shut that thing up and, move forward.
so real. That is so real. Yeah.
What do you think about competition? Do you how do you navigate that one?
Yeah. I mean, there's roles that you and I have went for at the same time. We filmed each other's video auditions.
And sometimes we got cast together.
Yeah, we got a cast.
So, that's also the cream de creme.
It's just like that. I think to me, like for us is good. Even with my other colleague Kedrick, we literally were filming each other's same audition. But because we're both understand the business, we I'm wishing you luck. Break legs, baby.
Totally.
We was wishing you luck. And so I think when the competition comes, when someone's just mean spirited and you can feel their energy, they're trying to, you could tell you're in the casting room, or you're in the audition room. Yeah, and they're trying to brag and say, oh, I know so-and-so, and I just got off of this audition site, or this project, and so-and-so. Then they, name dropping, but they didn't even see that star on there because they was probably an extra.
Exactly.
And so you got to make sure you protect yourself as far as your security. And one thing, just understanding that when you're auditioning, here's something that really even made me feel more secure. If you were submitted for an audition and they invited you, you got chosen out of 1,000+ auditions to audition.
Yeah.
That's huge. That means somebody's seen you.
Yeah.
Somebody's seen me. Somebody's seen us, and they wanted us to present ourselves. Show us what we got. So
sure.
that should make you feel good.
Yeah.
It's when you ain't getting no auditions when you.
That's right. So kind of seeing the silver lining.
Yeah.
I know for me, when it comes to competition, I really try to look at it more like these are going to be my future playmates.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That's
I really
great.
try not to get too into my head because, again, individualism and
Yeah.
that person brings something to the table that I don't, and I bring something to the table that they don't. So, but what about the future? What if we do like Suicide Lies? Me and LaDios had a great
Right.
time playing off of each other as
Right.
sisters, and, you know, those kind of things where, yeah, we walked into the same audition, and who's going to get it? Well, we both got it.
Yeah.
Ah.
We
So,
sure did.
so yeah, so there's those times. So I really try to look at other actors as future playmates and future people that I can learn from, because again, there's no sense in driving yourself crazy with what they have and what they don't. I was listening to something earlier today, just kind of brushing up on this topic, and they said, you know, jealousy is the kind of ultimate in black and white thinking, and also just the biggest indicator of something wrong with self.
That's
If
real.
somebody is triggering your jealousy, it's because you're seeing something in them that you wish you had. So, you know, diving into that and figuring out, why do I feel like I'm coming up short? What is it that other person's doing? Maybe they're working harder. Maybe they're putting more time in on that script. Maybe they're just going somewhere emotionally that you're not willing to go yet. And so what can you learn from that person that's making you feel that way? Because I guarantee if you focus on yourself and making yourself better, you're gonna do it. You're gonna
It's
make
gonna
yourself
present
better.
it. It's
Yeah,
gonna present on
happen.
stage and film, and I'm so glad you said that, because when you said looking at your castmates as playmates, and one of a stage director had said the best thing you can do when you go out on stage with somebody or on film is to make them look good.
Exactly.
So if you're focusing on building your character to make them look good, that takes out the competition altogether. Because if I'm making you look good, then we're gonna look good.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly. And that's such a huge point, because I think that just adds to getting over the whole jealousy and conflict, everything, you know, because as an actor, I'm there to be nice, I'm there to be professional, and it's like, if there is a conflict, how can I make this better? Like, that's my first line. How can I make this better? What can we do to work together, make this better? Because at the end of the day, I'm there for the production, and that production's so much bigger than just me.
Right.
So again, taking it
that's a
from
good
that
point.
that focal point of what am I doing? How can I be great? No, how can we make this production great? How can I support my teammates? How can I support my director? How can I just be somebody that people want to work with?
And
I think that's huge.
What do you feel about insecurities? Because I know we all have them.
Absolutely, we do. Lord said. You know, and I've told you this a million
we've had
times, LaDios, that I probably couldn't have done this job in my 20s. In my 20s, I was a little shell of myself. I was a puddle of insecurity, and there's no way. One director would have been like, make another choice. And I would they don't like me. Fuck this. Anyways, but getting older.
So real.
It's true. So again, it's kind of having a really good sense of self. I think making an inventory list, like, what are my strengths? What are my personal strengths? What do I bring to the table? And knowing that and having that in your back pocket. And, well, I didn't get this one, but that's all right. Because I know I'm a person of value and I bring something to the table. So you do have to have, I think, that sense of self if you're going to be an actor, because you should know that you're contributing to something and you have worth, and somebody wants to see it. You know, everybody probably wants to see it.
And we can't always be a lead. I mean, my whole thing is when you go in, like you said, knowing yourself, I like that, because there is a place in acting for everybody. You're never too old, you're never too young. There does come in different areas where, if you're in your 20s, you can't play with somebody who has a child, you know what I'm saying? At least they don't want to present that on TV, which they kind of do, because they do stuff subliminally that they don't catch. You have a teenager and you're 30, like, what happened there? Yeah. But now we're digressing from the point. The point is that there's a space for everyone. There's this beautiful actor, she's a full-figured woman, and she's like, hey, I never had a problem with being a full-figured woman. I know there's a space for me in acting. Exactly. And so, you have these beautiful long legs and you're like almost 6 feet tall, which I love. I was like, where's my height?
Yeah, I never get cast as a midget. Never happens.
But I'm just saying.
Don't let me have a 5'6" lead. Like, forget that. They're not looking at me.
Oh, they would not put you up against a 5'6"
with Kevin Hart. They don't let me act with Kevin Hart. Shoot.
You never know, because Kevin Hart might
He's
be
little.
They might might do it for comedic
Love
timing,
kids,
you know.
Jennifer. We love you. It's okay. We'll
But
stop.
you know, but the whole point is like we all have our beautiful gifts, our beautiful individual looks and traits, and if you just work that'll break down some of the insecurities and start building yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're still feeling insecure, you know, or you're not wondering why you're not getting auditions or you're not getting books, then you get a mentor.
Yeah.
And, you know, a mentor. I mentored with Christine Horn, who is all over the television for 6 months, but that's called an investment.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
And to build, you know, get away from jealousy, insecurities, and feeling rejected is when you start investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And it's at no cost.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like whatever you're gonna drop, whatever, if it's money you gotta drop, then you're gonna say, I'm worth that money. You know what I
And
mean?
it absolutely behooves you. I remember when I started, and it wasn't that long ago, but one of the first things I did was get into intro to acting class and get into another acting class. And I studied and studied and studied because when I met up with people like LaDios who had the experience, I felt like, oh, you know, so I had to go back and start informing myself about the craft, start informing myself about the process, which informed myself what kind of actor I was and helped me build confidence because now I was showing up knowing something.
Right.
So yeah, you know, whatever you can do to make yourself feel better in those areas where you feel weak are going to make you an amazing actor and somebody that people want to work with, right? We see that in people, right?
That
When
is,
you
and that's
push.
important. They
Yeah.
definitely, you want to be agreeable.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, so you can't be one of those jealous people and trying to cause
Or a diva.
Oh, divas. Oh my God. And how do you deal with someone who's a diva and who may be like projecting jealousy against you?
That's a tough one, you know, because again, it's like I said earlier, you know, whenever I'm in a conflict, I think the first thing that goes through my mind is how can I make this better?
Yeah.
And if it's out of my control, if it's somebody else's actions that are affecting me, that's kind of a tough one to be in. And I've been in that situation, and it wasn't comfortable. And I don't know if I navigated it right because, you know, at the end of the day, my approach was just to not cause more drama and to let a lot of shit slide off my back, let my work speak for itself, let my character speak for itself, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to play in the mud with you.
Right.
So, you know, and at the end of the day, I do think that happened, you know, but it was a painful, not supportive kind of place to be in. So yeah, so I mean, you have to handle that as it comes.
Yeah.
And it can take on all kinds of different forms. Luckily, mine was somewhat minor, like just somebody talking behind my back. But you know, it could be something much more
They try to sabotage you.
saboteur-ish. Like I know some people have gotten fired and things like that. So
I totally understand that. And
Yeah.
I honestly, that's a case by case thing. Like
Sure,
you said,
sure.
something might be. So if you talk, keep talking. That means, you know what, I'm gonna get some popcorn and watch you because you know what, I am the topic of your conversation.
Exactly. and everybody knows, like everybody's sitting there listening to that person. They're like, God, you're petty. Ew, you're gross. Like, yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, well, they can do that. You know, you can go play in the mud.
Right.
I'm not gonna get dirty with you.
Yeah,
So,
but yeah, when it starts to get harmful and it's sabotage, that's a whole nother thing. And I haven't gotten to that point, and
Thank
God
goodness.
forbid if it ever happens.
Yeah.
But it is very, regardless. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but then you just have to stand
Yeah.
solid and just focus on the craft and move along. Because I'm sure as we grow and get into bigger roles, I mean, it's going to be heavier stuff and you know, more
Absolutely.
problems, more challenges, and
And
so
you'd hope that production is there for you. You know, I mean, if it were ever a situation where you're feeling like, you know, it could be dangerous or something like that, remember that it is a big team that's doing this. And there are probably resources that might be outside of the dressing room that might be able to help in those kind of things. Because, no one should be harassed or felt unsafe. So yeah.
for sure. You know, and with, you know, dealing with jealousy, insecurities, and rejections, there's also that doing that thing of being over compromising by being a perfectionist.
Yes, perfectionism.
Have you done that?
Yeah. I do it like almost every time I come in for a rehearsal or audition with you. I'm always trying to be a perfectionist. And I am. It's like sometimes I'll get so hung up on lines that I forget my character, those kind of things. So it's like when you start diving in too deep or going into that micro level of looking at things. Like, it's just so helpful to pull back and look at the bigger picture.
Right.
And remind yourself what you're doing. Remind yourself no one's perfect. We had a great night a couple of nights ago. Another actor friend of mine, she lives down the street from me, and we were doing karaoke. And my daughter's singing with us, and, you know, she tells my daughter, like, come from your diaphragm, you know. My daughter got really into her head and, like, almost started crying and all of that. And we were like, oh, no. And, but it's like, if somebody's criticizing you, if somebody's giving you direction, instead of being like, oh my God, I'm not doing it right, oh my God, you know, they probably see something in you that you actually can do.
Right.
And they're only pushing you because they want to help bring that out in you. So if you can always kind of take the focus point of, no one's trying to hurt me, no one's trying to attack, you know, and like, you know, again, just trying to be a team player and, you know, shut that nasty voice up, you know, like, okay, things are pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, I think my thing with perfectionism and insecurity is, again, knowing that I'm an individual. My quirks are my quirks, and that's what makes me me, and don't get rid of them, because if I were perfect, I'd be boring. So...
And that you are not.
Never.
You're that not. Yeah, I don't think you come in as perfectionist, because for someone who can come in and do 2 to 3 takes and be done, perfectionist was crazy for me. And when I first got
me there.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. For me, I remember I used to try to do an audition and just get it perfect, and end up doing like ridiculously something like 15 takes, and it's like, oh my God.
See, that's what I try not to do.
Yeah,
because I could go down that hole, and I have to tap into what's that book? I think it's like The Power of Not Giving a Fuck or something like that.
God, great
you
book.
know, like so I have to tap into that, like, fuck it, it's gonna be okay, whatever. They're probably not gonna cast me anyway. So
The goal is always to do 3 takes or less, and no matter, it's not gonna be perfect, but if you're showing your character on there, they're gonna see you. They're gonna see you. I remember one audition that I did, a video audition, and there was 2 characters. Well, there's 1 character, but I was referencing another character. They had a different name, and I was like talking to Sue, and I was supposed to say, well, Bob said, and I said, well, Sue said, but I'm talking to Sue.
Right, yeah.
And it was like a really good take, and I was like, I don't know if I should send this in, but I sent it in, and I booked it, y'all. Because they were
there you go.
it was just a name. They were looking at the acting. So,
absolutely.
these are some things that we've come across as being actors, and I'm sure there's other crazy challenges.
Absolutely. And these are just some like tips and tricks from us on the field, but there's plenty of resources for handling your insecurity and anxiety and all those things. So go read a book. Don't trust the internet. Just kidding.
Definitely don't trust the internet. Do your research.
Do your research.
Invest in yourself. Get some mentoring, coaching, whatever, and continue learning. Even if you are not taking any classes, keep learning. They have online classes, they have books, keep learning. And
self-care too. I think self-care is so important. You got to love yourself first if you expect anybody else to love you.
Especially,
so, you got to take care of yourself and pamper yourself and remind yourself you're worth it. Like I said, that inventory list, knowing your strengths. I think that's so valuable. Everybody should. Yeah. Everybody should know what they come to the table with.
What's your strength?
My humor.
Yes. My drama.
All right. Well, I think that wraps this one up.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for sliding through. Please like, share, subscribe, and remember to get up and get out and do something for yourself. I am LaDios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n, an actor with passion.
And we are actors
from the dark side.